What's up, everyone? Morning. A little bit different episode of Morningwood today. Just wanted to, touch on the current events going on in the NBA quickly. I think surprisingly, not surprisingly, last night or in the afternoon yesterday, the Milwaukee Bucks led the charge and decided that they were going to protest the game by not coming out to the court, which was a shock to even the Orlando Magic, who were out warming up before having to head back to the locker room. This was, I think, something that we had heard that the Celtics and the Raptors were thinking about doing. Jaylen Brown has been a big person kind of leading the charge in the NBA, trying to keep this conversation going. So that wasn't shocking. And then when the Milwaukee Bucks actually had the opportunity to do it and they did it, I mean, I was definitely surprised. I mean, our guy Jeff, I think, hit us up on Twitter asking if we thought that this could happen, and it did. So I was shocked. Were you surprised by this?
No, yeah, I didn't think the Bucks would do it for sure. The Magic were obviously shocked as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's powerful. They're sticking to their guns and following up on what was said from the beginning, not letting this get lost in translation. So, I support the players, whatever they want to do, all about finding the best way. We all got to love one another at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I think,
we didn't lose our best bets yesterday.
That's true. The upsides. I think one of the things that you look at here is everyone in the NBA seems to be unified, at least on the surface.
Yeah, I mean, for the people who are not, are the people who don't watch the NBA anyway.
Right. That's the funny part. I look at a guy like Clay Travis who went on this big rant, and Clay Travis has kind of tried to capitalize on this kind of right side of sports media, which, I'm sure is an opening in some degrees, because not everybody who watches sports agrees politically, obviously. And there are a ton of people who are the just shut up and dribble, who fall into that clan. But it sucks that people like him have a big enough platform and are just trying to take advantage of something that's tangible that the players are trying to do, and trying to focus it on himself. And when, if I don't know what this movement will do, what it'll accomplish, I don't think anybody knows yet, but I will say this. It's something, and it's reigniting a conversation that, while it was still going on, was dying out a little bit.
For sure, 100%. I mean, I'm trying to not be overly political as best as possible while still trying to hit key points. So there's two arguments that I keep hearing that, I'm sorry, if you're saying these arguments, you're a fucking idiot. There's just no way. So one being, the players are getting paid enough, so just go play. You're getting paid to do this. So it's obviously bigger than money. It's not like they don't know this. It's an issue bigger than money. They obviously know they're getting paid to play. Doesn't mean, that they have to play. They're trying to send a message. Then always the follow-up to this is, well, I can't just go to my job and tell them that, I'm making a protest and now I don't have to work. You actually do have that right. You can go do that if you want to do that. The difference is that your company will probably let you go because you're not one of the best of the 500 of what you do in the world. So their value to their organization, to their job, their value to their job, they are more valuable to what they do to their job than what you do to yours. You're replaceable. They're replaceable. That's it. That's the answer. If the league was able to just replace all these new players or all these players with replacement players, they would, because it's financially more benefit for them. However, they can't. They need these players. to be able to drive their business and make the money. They need these players. Your job, they don't need you. They will move on. They will get past it and they will move on with somebody else because you're not one of the best at the 500 at what you do in the world.
100%. And, to your point where, they say, oh, just play, you're making enough money, why are you complaining? As far as, especially for the Milwaukee Bucks, it's personal. Sterling Brown literally had an incident with the Milwaukee Police Department, which I believe is the same police department that committed the Jacob Blake shooting, where he ended up, I think, settling with the police department because they abused their power. Mo Harkless yesterday came out, talked about an incident that he had on the way to a game where he had, I believe it was his nephews in the car with him. He gets pulled over, racially profiled. The police officer asks if it's his car. And then when he gives him his ID, the police comes back, realizes who it is. He comes and acts like everything's cool. And there's a lot of these situations that, like, that's not something that's getting reported. That doesn't go into any statistics. And these are the situations that, Black people in this country have to deal with. And even if they are athletes, famous athletes, it doesn't mean that they don't deal with these same issues that, would be nice if they didn't have to deal with them. If people wouldn't be racially profiled or just looked at differently because of the color of their skin. And, I think it's important that these athletes are speaking up because, working in a high school, especially over the last few years, you see how impressionable kids are. Like, these behaviors are learned, for the most part, whether you're, an old person getting brainwashed by news or you're a young kid listening to your parents, your older brother or sister, your grandparents, whoever. You're impressionable and you're learning all of these things. And these same kids who might be having these terrible opinions that they learn from people in their life also look up to rappers and they look up to athletes. And if these, celebrities can make a positive change in speaking out and having these kids be like, you know what, that racist thing that my uncle said at dinner the other night, not that funny because this is an issue going on.
What I don't understand is, and I agree with you, but where I'm kind of confused with social media I feel like it's almost the opposite in the sense of like, kids are impressionable, but so are adults. Adults are impressionable.
For sure.
It's almost like, I always say, it's like somehow social media and the normality turned into what the shit you say on Call of Duty in your chat room is now what that's what won. That's what exists. 14-year-old Twitter trolls, who are just there to get underneath people's skin. Adults are like, oh, this is how you use social media and this gets reactions. Let's double down. So you got to say heinous, dumb shit to get reactions.
Yeah.
It's infuriating. It really is. So, it sucks. I'm glad the players are, doing what they feel is right. And I support them all the way. Do you think the season continue? I mean, it's nuts. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to answer that question of do you think the season's going to continue because we don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. So
this is unprecedented. I mean, the last time that the players had a protest like this where they didn't play was 1961 with Bill Russell. So, and that was a preseason game. These are the playoffs. It's a weird situation. We're in the middle of a pandemic. These people are stuck on a campus in Orlando, probably missing their families, seeing all of this happen. I mean, I think whether they continue to play or not is do the owners who, if you talk about, hey, you have all this money, the owners are the one with the real money. Like, yeah, LeBron has a ton of money. Russell Westbrook, the stars have a ton of money. It's not like Quinn Cook is generationally wealthy.
No.
Quinn Cook's doing fine, but he's not generationally wealthy. It's not like he could really put his money where his mouth is, further than like, hey, I'm helping out with my community. Like some of these owners can really affect change. So I think whether the season continues or not is if the players look to the owners and say, hey, you didn't do enough. What else can you do? I'm Jimmy Butler. All I wanted to do was make a statement, not having my name on the back of my jersey. You wouldn't even let me do that. How serious are we taking this? Step up as a league, step up as the owners, and we'll take it from there.
Selfishly, for love of God, thank you, New York, for the Knicks saying something yesterday.
Yeah.
For the love of God, just once, just get in, get out, and don't embarrass yourself. I can appreciate that. So, yeah, man, it's rough. The only thing I felt like you can compare it to yesterday, where it's like things are happening and changing so fast, and you're just following exactly, what Shams and Woj is saying and everything. It's two things that remind me of the NBA. Obviously, little less impactful, but one being obviously the start of COVID, and whereas every game is canceled, not canceled, we're going to have fans. We have no idea, and it's changing on the dime.
Right.
And then, the DeAndre Jordan going to the Mavericks situation. Those two situations where it's just like you're glued to Twitter and you have no idea, like it's changing rapidly, and at any moment something else can completely change. So I feel like we're gonna have another day like that today, where we're just following to see what goes on from here. I don't know.
And that's all we can do is just shout out Josh in the chat. What's up, Josh? I think Josh ended up playing 2K with the literal Lakers yesterday.
Nice.
Like he posted a screenshot, like Quinn Cook, Talon Horton Tucker, LeBron, J.R. Smith, like the Anthony Davis, the literal Lakers. So shout out Josh.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Josh says not my screenshot. Somebody did.
That's all right. That's right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a play it by ear situation. I don't think the players are going to be wrong with whatever they do. I mean, from the other side, there were reports that some of the players are like, hey, we came here, we sacrificed a lot to be here, being away from our families for so long. Let's finish what we started. Obviously, you empathize with that. You can see that point as well. So, whatever they decide to do as, a unified organization, whatever it is, I think it's powerful because it extended past just the NBA. You saw other leagues having to, cancel games, and they started something that, hope maybe could be bigger. Sometimes when you start something, you don't know what it's going to end up turning into. And this is the conversation it's starting, and we'll see where we go from here.
Adam Silver's been batting 1,000 every time he has to make a decision and do things. So I really look forward to, a statement or what he has to say in regards to this.
Yeah, smart guy. I'm sure he's definitely capable of reading the moment and understanding and figuring out exactly what needs to be done. And hopefully, like you said, we can just freaking learn to love each other. Thanks for watching, guys. Brian, appreciate you. Jeff, appreciate you. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if that's it, you have any final thoughts, or it's gonna be a short episode. We didn't have anything, no games to talk about, no best bets to lose today. So we're gonna take it by ear. We'll see where we're at, as the coming days go on. So till next time, peace, guys.